Hey everyone, welcome to the Anonymous Advice Podcast. I'm Andrew, and holy shit. What's going on, you crazy people? Happy Monday, happy life, happy apocalypse. I have a very special guest this week. My emo friend Dan from the band Hideouts is on. I swear to you, his advice is literally better than Dr. Drew's. It's better. You gotta listen to this. This is insane. We talk about Emo Night Brooklyn, Ryan Cabrera, people who cheat on their spouses, Buzz Aldrin beating the shit out of someone, and so much more. Since next week is a little wacky in the US of A, I'll be on Wednesday instead of Monday. Just a little solo, quick one from me after the election. So the next time you hear from me, it's going to be after Halloween, after voting. So have fun this weekend. Go vote. Dress up as a meme, or I don't know, whatever you do. Yeah, I'll see you next Wednesday.
Yo, buddy, can you hear me?
Hey.
Oh
Yes.
my God, you sound beautiful on this fucking Zoom thing.
I give it all the credit to my microphone.
Yeah. So how did you set that up today? Like, what do you usually use?
I use a Focusrite Sapphire Pro 40 interface for all my
Gotcha.
production at home.
Nice.
And it's kind of awkward because it lets me input obviously this microphone through it, but Focusrite has their own software that you have to use to route the audio.
Yeah, I'm using
So,
Focusrite too.
It's a pain in the ass trying to get that shit
Yeah.
to line up sometimes.
Yeah, it is a pain in the ass.
But
how are you doing, man?
I'm well, man. No complaints on my side. Just
Yeah?
just trying to find ways to kill time throughout all this nonsense.
I know, right?
Video games and exercise are two of my biggest things besides cooking.
Oh yeah, for real.
How about yourself?
I do all those things too. And I think, well, we're recording now, but I can do like an intro for you and everything too if you want.
Okay.
But yeah, dude, I had no idea COVID was gonna be this long. I've been just
Yeah,
home doing a
it's
lot of
kind of
nothing.
gnarly.
Yeah.
I started out like in my mind, I thought we were only gonna have like a month, maybe two.
Yeah.
So like my first few weeks, I was definitely capitalizing on the time off, and I spent a lot of time recording because I
Yeah.
had a series of cover EPs that I wanted to do and release for free. And
Awesome.
I got started doing all the music for all of them. Well, I did 5 songs anyway, musically. And then I got to the point where I was like 3 weeks in and ready to track vocals, and then there was no end in sight for the
Yeah.
quarantine. So I was like, what's the rush? And I haven't done anything since May now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Were you doing that by yourself, or you're just recording
Yeah, just
acoustically?
no, just recording full band versions of some of my favorite songs. Like a lot of the songs that I grew up with that kind of influenced me as a musician and got me into like the emo and rock side of music.
Yeah.
So like I have covers that I've started from The Marvelous 3, from
Gotcha.
Fall Out Boy, from Spitalfield, like just a
Oof.
bunch of bands that I loved.
All the classics. And this is how,
Yeah.
so whoever's listening to this, Dan and I met through Emo Night Brooklyn, which some of the best nights of my life I feel like were in Anaheim
No doubt, dude.
at the fucking House of Blues out there.
Yeah. The House of Blues is a lot of fun, and even before that one,
Oh, wait,
you
it's
guys were doing
the-
them at the Observatory. at first.
Observatory. Yes. The Observatory was fucking awesome, dude. When we
Oh,
used
those
to
were
do
so
those
fun.
together. Holy
Yeah.
shit. There were
I
so many
remember-
people there.
Dude, that first one caught me so off guard because like I hadn't sung in a while, and I had no idea that I was gonna get like asked to sing or kind of just karaoke style some of those songs with you guys. And I want to say it was one with Forrest from Hello Goodbye.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that was
one
like
of
the first real one that I went to.
Oh,
There.
really? Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was one of my favorite ones I think I've ever done. Like there
Yeah.
was like 500 people there.
There's probably more than that.
Yeah, probably 6, maybe 700. It
Yeah.
was just like, dude, it was insane. It was like electric, you know?
Those first few hours, that energy that everybody that has, like obviously as the night goes on, that doesn't last, but those first few hours of seeing everybody there, just enjoying those songs, like all the songs that we all grew up with, even the ones that were late bloomers into the emo game, they all still had such a love for those songs, and you could see it in how well the audience reacted when you were doing them live. And everybody was like, I had so many people that were like, oh, I can't get behind just going and watching a DJ push play. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't really understand, because it's not exactly like that. Like, yes, that's the technical side of things, but there's so much more in that release of that energy and that love that you have for that music that you're not going to get to see most of these bands ever play again. Some of them don't exist anymore. So this is like the one way that you can have a chance to see those bands one way and experience them with friends.
Yeah, and it's like it's not like exactly what you just said. It's not like we're just pushing a button and just like leaving the stage or whatever. We all grew up on all this music, right? So we're all excited to be there and just listen to it.
I get so hype.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's insane. It's fucking insane every time we do it.
I honestly never thought I would, and I'll be one of the first people to admit that when I first saw all the Emo Night things pop up years ago, like even the Emo Night LA ones before I knew of Emo Night Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I never wanted to go to them because I was like, I was one of those people that was like, it's just push and play, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, not really. Especially when you have the featured members from different bands that come into it and they get up there and they play their favorite songs. You get to see a whole different side to people that you're not going to get from an interview. Like seeing somebody's musical taste from a band like Atreyu or from Yellow Card and the songs that they like, that you're like, I wouldn't have expected him to like this.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just it. You got to throw expectations out the window, man.
It's so fun when we have guests too, you know, like what you were saying. Like we had Set It Off out there and Forrest, I think were the two.
I did a duet on, I think it was Grand Theft Autumn with Cody from Set It Off.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It's just so great. Every time I go out there, it's just such a bummer that we can't do it. You know, we'll be back eventually out there, but who the fuck knows?
I know there's no real end in sight. There's obviously no real live shows happening, and the whole social distancing at a show is kind of the antithesis of what a show is supposed to be like.
Exactly.
Like to me, I even if I could go to concerts right now, I wouldn't want to, because I think it would kind of nullify the whole effect of the show to me.
Yeah.
Like, I would want to do it on one hand because I want to support the other artists, and obviously like I am one, so I would love to be able to perform again at some point, but I want it to be under the right circumstances, and I want it to be safe for everybody. Like,
yeah, for sure.
At this point, we've gone this far. I'm in no rush to fuck things up, basically.
Yeah, you got to keep pushing. It's like, why? I don't even know why I would ever want to go to a show that's only like 25% capacity anyway. Like what you were mentioning.
It would be like going to a local show. Like, in a local band.
Local
like,
shows, fuck this.
Like, well, as a local, being in a local band and everything, you're like, oh man, we're so thankful for you guys to come out. And then there's like 10 people. It's like, it's like, that's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to shows where there's, you know, it ranges. So it's the best part is, you know, you and your friends going somewhere and just having a blast over that. You know,
exactly. So. And I will say on this, like on that regard, I don't give local shows enough credit, because I have been playing in like the Southern California local scene for so many years now at this point. But I'll be the first to admit, some of my favorite shows have been shows where there were only like 12 people. Like, I'll never forget. My band Hideouts did a show where I think we were direct support for, who was it? I think it was Escape the Fate at the Glass House.
Oh, nice.
And it was a cool show. Like, they're a great band and they're cool dudes, but it was an off day show for them. There wasn't really any promotion put into it. I think they were doing a festival run at that time.
Gotcha. Was this with Ronnie?
No, this was the only times we ever played with them was with Craig Mabbitt. We played with them a couple times.
Cool.
But we did that show, and it was a last minute request. The Glass House hit us up to come and play it, and it was really just us and them. And there may have been like 400 or 500 people there. But the next day, I want to say we were in Arizona and we played I swear it was like a fucking meth lab. But there were like 12 people in a garage, and they were going so crazy. I was like, dude, I'm not even going to lie. I had more fun here in the show tonight with 10, 12 people going apeshit than I just had playing in front of 500 or 600 people the night before.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's all the energy that's given to you. And that's how I thrive. I'm definitely the empath type of person. I feed off that energy.
And speaking of just the emo night stuff in general, I got to give it up for Jeff Schultz. He fucking crushes those like photographs. That dude is so goddamn good.
If I could have a baby, he would be its daddy. That guy.
I know. He's fucking awesome.
I love Jeff. He took the last photos that I had taken. Because the last thing that I did actually, I went to one of the emo night Brooklyns at House of Blues in Anaheim. And
was that with Ryan
yeah.
Key? Okay, cool.
And so I'm like a lifelong diehard Yellow Card fan. So I was like super pumped about that one. And then I got to sing Jimmy Eat World song, which is my all-time favorite band with Ryan. So even more pumped for that. But yeah, Jeff got all those pictures. Most of the pictures that I have on anything are probably from him.
Yeah, most of mine. He makes me look so much better than you know what I'm actually doing, which is great.
I don't care if he's space tuning me or not. He makes me look better than I think.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I did a couple dates in Florida with Ryan. It was fucking awesome. Like we did the Orlando, Tampa, and West Palm run, and those are fucked up because I usually the West Palm. It's like West Palm Beach. I just stay at the venue until 4 or 5 in the morning and then fly right out. So I'm always just like fucked up. I'm just like, oh my god. I'm like, holy shit.
You're just on a bender at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
awake.
It's like, are they going to let me on this flight?
Oh man.
And all that. And
when
speaking of,
when you do Orlando, is it what, back room or back booth?
Sound bar?
Sound bar.
I want to call it. Yes, it's that sound bar, which is cool. It's like a 400 cap thing, but it's the stage is huge and it's everybody just packed in this super tiny room. And it's always a fucking blast every time I'm down there. So
that's a lot of fun. Yeah, I love it out in Orlando. I spent a month out there.
Oh, you did?
Writing and recording for my band's last release.
Nice.
And we were out there working with Andrew Wade, good old boss man.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Anything else going on? Speaking of meth labs, I started watching Breaking Bad again.
And
it's one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
I've gone on the complete 180 on that, and I've started watching Stargate SG-1. All my sci-fi love.
Oh my god! How old is that show?
Dude, it's old. I think the last episode aired in the early 2000s, like maybe 2004 or 5.
Holy shit!
They ran for like 12 seasons, 12 or 13.
Damn. Did you watch them all?
I have all of them. Like a lot of people wouldn't know this from looking on the outside, but I am a massive nerd for the sci-fi stuff. The Stargate franchise, they had like a few different series that they did. And they're one of those shows that I can go back and watch no matter how poor the production quality is.
I have never seen this show. Is it like a drama?
It's kind of like the movie, except serialized. So they just took it and you just keep going to they keep going to different worlds. And there's new battles. There's an Atlantis version where they discover the lost city of Atlantis, and that's connected to the Stargates.
Gotcha.
That's just one of the things that I really like about it, because I'm also a history buff, is the incorporation of mythology and different civilizations. Damn. And they tie that all into aliens and how they created all these mythologies on Earth, and they were based on alien races, basically.
Gotcha.
Like, that's probably not that far off from reality.
Yeah, right? With everything going on now. For sure. All right, it ran from 1997 to 2007. All right, geez. Richard Anderson, Michael Shanks. All these guys.
Yeah, Richard D. Anderson, he was MacGyver.
Yeah. Damn.
That was another one of my childhood favorite shows.
I used to love that.
That probably led to my love for engineering too.
Oh, nice. Damn, you got a lot of stuff going on then.
Yeah.
Engineering, Stargate, recording.
And in the process of also getting my real estate license, which has been a long time coming.
Maybe I'll do that. I got some extra free time now.
Dude, seriously.
Yeah, it's maybe I'll do. Do you take a test for that? Is it like?
I'm doing a course right now that covers all the prerequisite hours you have to do. There's like 3 different sets of 45 hours for courses you have to do, and then after you've done all that, you can take the licensing exam. Cool. But through my program, I have to do a final for each one of those sets of 45 hours too. And the first one, I think I got an 89 on, so not too shabby.
Not too shabby. That's a lot better than I did in fucking high school.
I had a funny story about high school not too long ago. One of my friends was talking about like how we got on the subject of how I got away with a lot of stuff in school. Yeah. And most people hated it, but I loved it because I was given such a free rein. And I remember on one of my classes, I hated it. I got put in this advanced chemistry class, and I'm not good with numbers. So when it came time to our final, our teacher told us in advance that it was being graded on a curve. And so they were going to throw out the highest score and the lowest score. And what I decided to do to have fun with that was I was going to do my test. It was just those fill in the blank bubble sheets where you have like 100 questions. And I started with question 1 and put that answer in question 100 and worked the whole thing backwards. I got the lowest grade in the class.
There you go. That's what you have to do sometimes. That was in my last year of high school. I had maybe 2 or 3 credits I had, and me and my friend Evan, we were trying to figure out what we have to do, and there was a conceptual physics class. So it's like not the smart kids, let's say, in a grade. And we were just hanging around. We got like 100s on every test score or whatever, because it was like, this shit is so easy. Like I almost failed chemistry, but this is great. And the last, I guess the project was building this huge like wooden. What did we have to do in high school? Sometimes we had to build these like wooden fucking things. I forget the names of them.
I know with my
like
physics
all
class,
that balsa wood.
Like little tower building.
Yeah, tower building. So he was like,
I had to do that too. Yeah.
It's like, all right, guys, out of balsa wood, you have to make this huge tower. It may take about 10 hours to build. And we're just like, how much of a grade is this? Like, well, it's going to be 10% of your grade. It's like, I'm just not going to do it. It's like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just not going to do it. They're like, all right, well, cool. But yeah, high school, man. Fuck. Goddamn, so long ago for me.
I had so many funny stories from high school. My senior year especially, I got away with so much. But in my defense, I had moved out of my parents' house just before my senior year.
Oh, really?
18 just before school started.
Nice.
And it wasn't so much that like I hated my parents or anything like that. Like, yeah, we didn't get along or see eye to eye on some things. They were super religious, whereas I didn't. It didn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
And it was just for my own sanity. Like I needed that space. And in order to pay for my apartment, I had to work near full time at a Subway sandwich shop.
Nice.
But even that, I reeled in my friends to come in and help me close. And in exchange for them sweeping and mopping and doing dishes and all that stuff, I'd give them like a free sandwich.
Nice.
So, like it worked out to my benefit.
Works out. Dude, I used to work at Staples when I was in high school. That shit was fucked up.
Oh man. I don't like working in food, and Subway was the last time I ever worked in food, but the customer service side of things, goddamn, I feel so bad for so many people that work in customer service.
Oh my God, dude. I will never go in somewhere and like start. Yeah. You see all these videos, whether they're on, Reddit, whatever. It's like just people going in and yelling at each other. It's
whether
like,
it's a Karen or a Ken. It's like, Jesus, do you really not have anything better to do with your life?
Yeah. It's insane. Like, I don't understand where these people are coming from, where they think they can just yell at people for like screwing up an order. Not even screwing up an order. It's like, well, I thought it was 20 cents less. Like, fuck you, and I'm not wearing a Met. Like, this whole thing. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I know. And I think the crazy thing with coronavirus is it's brought a lot of those people who normally would be doing that stuff to light. But before, it was probably so ridiculous that people just didn't care. But now it's like you've got people without masks that, like, I remember a story months ago where an old lady asked a woman if she could just social distance herself from her in line. And the woman ended up getting mad and did something, hit her and knocked her down, and she broke her hip. And
Holy
she just
shit.
recovered from a surgery. Like, it's just like, dude, have a little bit of human decency.
It seems like a lot of these people, human decency is right out the door with everything else. Doesn't make any sense.
True.
But yeah, that's, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Maybe we should start getting into some of these questions, right?
Yeah, I'm for it.
Man, I had a person. So basically, like, I have an email address that's linked to this podcast, and this is the first ever email that I've gotten. This is crazy. Someone hit me up and said I think someone's probably just fucking with me, but we'll see what happens here. Here's the first question. This is, most of these topics tonight are, I guess, relationship based, like most of my stuff is. As a 32-year-old single person, I think I can just tell people what to do all the time. But,
we've kind of gone through it at our age at this point.
We've gone through it. But dude, I didn't know you had a podcast either, though.
I do, yeah. And it's funny that you hit me up about like the relationship-based ones, because though I don't consider myself to be a relationship guru, for whatever reason, all of my friends and people on the outside decide to come to me for advice. I guess my only explanation would be like, because I can look at things from a logical and an emotional standpoint, being that I have that logic capacity, but then also suffering from empathy, I like to call it, because it is a blessing and a curse. Being able to put yourself in other people's shoes, it's like, man, even though this person fucked me over, I can't really be mad at him because I understand. You
Yeah.
know, like it's a really catch-22 kind of place to be in emotionally, but it comes handy in relationships for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and since us being two emo dudes, I think it helps.
It fleshes it out. It was
uh,
destiny.
all righty, let's get into the first one. Hello, I'll say the first name, but I won't say her full name. Obviously, I think that goes
Yeah.
against the anonymous part of it. Hello, my name is Caitlin, and I really enjoyed listening to your podcast and is wondering if you could answer a question for me. So I'm currently in a relationship and talking to another amazing guy. All right.
Oh man.
That's right off the bat. My boyfriend says he's okay with me talking to this other guy too. But I've noticed that I'm falling for this other guy more and more each day, but we haven't met in person. Do you think I should just pursue a relationship with this online guy or stay in my current relationship? What do you think, Dan? What do you think, Danny? You know, what do
Well,
you think?
I actually have two separate instances of experience in this case exactly. Except
Jesus.
I was the guy in the scenario, obviously. I had a girlfriend I was seeing in Boston for a while, and
Wait,
I was
were
kind
you
of
in Boston at all, or were you just across the
bits
country?
and pieces. Like I was
Okay.
over there for a little bit. Like I wasn't residing there, but I would stay with her when I did go to Boston for like a month at a time.
Cool.
And we were together. We started dating pretty soon after I had broken up with my previous girlfriend. But we had known each other for many years. And the whole premise of our relationship starting was that she wanted to move to California. And it was like, well, now this makes more sense because we'd be living in the same area instead of doing this whole cross country rigmarole.
Yeah.
But we ended up being together, and I'm a very secure person in most aspects, like as far as emotionally secure in a relationship. I'm the kind of person where I get into a relationship and that person has a blank slate with me. Like I don't care what your past is. I don't care
Oh
who you've
man,
been with before. None of that stuff matters to me
I need to
because
know everything. I'm like, who did you sleep with? Fuck you. I was a jealous guy in college.
I mean, I may have been at one point, but I definitely, as I got older, got to the point where I'm like, it's not fair to start a relationship under this false pretense that I built up about somebody. Like,
Yeah.
whatever happened in their relationship happened because of the two of them, not because of one person. So I'm like, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And her ex-boyfriend was a guy that she had dated for a year. And I want to say it was like right before Valentine's Day, I started getting this, my intuition was going off, like something's different. And I had already planned this surprise visit to come back out because I was in California at the time. And to her knowledge, I wasn't going to be able to come out and visit for Valentine's Day. But I had secretly purchased tickets knowing that I was going to take a red eye so that when she went to bed, I was still awake because of the hour difference.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time I got there in the morning, it was about time that she wakes up. So it was going to be this whole surprise thing.
Surprises.
Before that happened, one of the last days I was out there before coming back to California, that same friend who kept following her on Snapchat and messaging her all the time, like that same ex, he was going through some issues with a girl he was dating, and he was like, I don't have any friends in the city. They're all home for the holidays. Like, I just need somebody to talk to. So I told her, go ahead, go talk to him, go grab a bite to eat or something.
Damn.
Like, I'll just chill here. If you're going to do something, whether or not I approve of you to go do it, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So it was like, you can have that reign until you've broken the trust. But once that trust is broken, it's pretty much done. And that's what happened. Like, I guess on their way back, he was talking about how happy he was in his relationship, but he doesn't know how to take the next step and all this. And she was talking about how happy she was with me. But then I guess they were really drunk, and he decided to lean in and give her a kiss, literally outside of the apartment that I was sitting in.
Oh my God.
So I was like, wow, that's fucked. And that was pretty much that.
Oh my God. It always starts with a couple drinks, you know?
Alcohol is always
I miss you,
gonna bring out the
babe.
true colors. Yeah. And then there was another one, actually late last year, who I happened to be the new guy that she was talking to. She had a boyfriend, but she didn't let me know that at first. And then eventually she did break up with him so that we could start hanging out. But then we didn't hang out either. So it's a really tricky situation where the girl, what was her name again? Caitlin. She's talking to somebody, and that's the beauty of being online. is you have such a blinder up. You don't see what this person's like in real life, and everything. It's cheesy and cliche to say, but the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
If you have a boyfriend that you care about, my advice would be nourish that relationship. You could keep talking to other people who are going to make you feel all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, it may be a reflection of what you're not getting in your relationship, or it may be a reflection of how you've changed as you've grown. And you're noticing that there are different things that you're aspiring to and different things that are either turning you on or exciting you. And if that's the case, then it is time to kind of internalize and examine what's going on with you and your current partner, because you owe it to each other to be straightforward and upfront with each other about how you feel. And if you're having doubts, to me, that's the cancer. Like, if you have a doubt, it's only going to grow.
Damn, Danny, you're better than fucking Dr. Drew over here. This is some good advice. I agree with you 100%.
That's that experience equates to wisdom sometimes.
I have zero experience over here with this shit. I'd be jealous. I'd be like, what are you doing? We got to break up. Yeah, I mean, I think the boyfriend
comes
in this
down to that communication.
Yeah, the boyfriend needs to communicate with her. I wouldn't
very
just
well not be aware.
Well, the boyfriend says he's okay with me. It says my boyfriend says he's okay with me talking to this other guy too, but he may not be aware of this like sort of situation where she likes this other guy.
What I mean is he may not be aware that he's insufficient in his efforts in their relationship, because usually that's what'll end up happening when you're not doing enough to like stoke the flames of your relationship. Then that's when that person starts to get disinterested, or they start to distance themselves because they think, oh, well, he hasn't bought me flowers in like 3 years and he just must not care as much.
Yeah.
Like, that time does have a way of like taking the shine off of things. If you're not putting in effort, that's going to happen 100% of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. It's like one of those things where it's before you guys get engaged and stuff, you got to like seriously think about your relationship, you know?
Yeah. I've had a couple semi proposals, and
oh my God,
they're just like, are you serious? Not like I can't imagine doing that, but it's just that some people want to jump right into that. And I've always been the kind of person where I'm like, I don't need a piece of paper to signify how much I care about somebody. I do want to get married at some point, but not for the sake of like getting a certificate of marriage. It's just, for some people, that's like the final piece they need in their puzzle to know that they're with the person that wants to be with them for the rest of their life.
That is true. And very good point.
I don't follow that. Like I don't want to say I'm like Gene Simmons, where he's like, I'm happily unmarried for all these years. But I mean,
I think Gene's fucked example. Maybe
if you look at his relationship,
800 people.
He's got it all out of his system.
Yeah.
But with the family that he was able to build, and with his, well, not wife, but girlfriend, like, they'd been together all these years and still find a way to make each other happy, you know? Like, I feel like once you put the constraints on your relationship, that's when people start to feel that trapped sensation or the expectation of something else. And it's, I'll look at it like this. Like, you just had the Lakers won the NBA championship. The day before that, they were still the same player. The day after that, they're still the same player. Like, yeah, they have a piece of hardware now, but realistically, what in their life has actually changed? Just a mental perception of their achievement. And to me, that's what marriage can equate to some people. It's like the person in school that always overachieved and needed to get 100% or a 5.0 GPA.
Yeah.
They could never get a B. Like, to me, that's such a false way of living life. I feel like that's unfulfilling, or it's fulfilling in like the wrong ways.
It's fulfilling in the wrong ways, where I think I think you're trying to impress other people at that point.
Yeah. Like, you're not happy with your own work. If you were, you wouldn't be striving to do something else. You're worried more about that outward perception.
And it seems like this is the case for Caitlin.
Yeah.
Seems like it's the case.
That outward perception. She's getting a lot more attention from this new person, but she should be getting it from her boyfriend or her husband, whichever they may be.
Damn, man. That was good. You know, what a great question. What a great answer. I agree with you.
That because that's a tricky situation.
It is. It is a tricky situation.
I've definitely, like, I'm not sure about you, but I've definitely been in situations where, like, when I'm dating somebody, I'm in it for that. Like, if I'm single, I can go out and date 5 or 6 different girls, and as long as we all are under the same knowledge, like we're not looking for anything serious, that's fine. But when I find somebody that I like want to be with, that whole side of my mentality is shut down, and it's like the light switch goes off, and
Oh yeah.
only person I have attention for or sight for is the person I'm with. And being a musician, that's a really hard thing to get through to a lot of girls, because being on the road or around other girls all the time, they're always like, oh, well, there's all these, there's these situations that you could find yourself in where like girls are throwing themselves at you. I'm like, yeah, you don't think that those have happened? It doesn't mean that I've
Nobody's done that to me ever.
Like, I can't count how many times I could have cheated on a girlfriend. You lie.
No one has thrown themselves at. Well,
Oh
I mean,
my
I've
God.
slid. Dude, I've slid into some
Stop fucking
DMs.
lying.
I've slid into a couple DMs. I got to admit. Yeah, I fell in love in Florida a couple times. That's the problem for me. Yo,
Never
yeah.
been there.
Oh yeah. All right. Wow, that was a good one.
I can't do that. I've never cheated on anyone, never could. So even having that like flirtatious conversation with somebody when I'm in a relationship has been 100% non-existent.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome, man.
Shut that shit down.
Shut it down. Shut it down, man. All right. Next question. That's good. That's some advice for you, Caitlin. I hope. Thank you for listening to the podcast. This is crazy. Emailing me. It's insane. I love it. But yeah, let's go. Let's keep going. Here's the next question. My wife is always talking about how perfect other men are. Jeez. My wife, who's 27, is always going on and on about how amazing other men are. She will come home from work and start saying how this doctor is smart. What? Yeah, of course he's smart. Or this one is attractive. We'll go out with friends, and on the way home, I get to hear how great of a husband this friend is or how sexy this bartender was. At first, I just felt like she was just always being nice, but she never says anything good about me. All she says about me is, oh, it looks like you've gained more weight, or you really don't know how to make women happy. I think she's joking, but it hurts. I know I'm not a perfect guy, and I've let myself go compared to when we first met 4 years ago, but I just wish I didn't constantly feel like I'm the worst guy on earth. Any advice here?
Wow. That's rough, because my first thought when hearing that is, A, she's ignorant.
Yeah.
And B, she's gaslighting the fuck out of him, which is usually something that guys do. Like when you have a manipulative male, like it's not even necessarily an alpha male, but it is a trait that some dudes, and I don't want to stereotype, but a lot of frat guys happen to turn into this. Like if they go down that, just to get drunk at the party all the time and hook up with passed out cheerleaders or whatever, like you fall into this line of thought where you have to get your way all the time and that there's really no repercussions to the things you do or say. And being gaslit is something that happens to so many women. I can't count how many times I've heard other girlfriends or girls I've dated talk about previous boyfriends who've done that to them.
So I don't know the definition of gaslighting per se. Like, so is gaslighting when...
The basic premise of being gaslit is if somebody like in his case, she's saying like he's overweight or he doesn't look as good as he did. It's these elements that you start to project into another person's psyche that makes them feel like whatever they've done is wrong. And it could be something simple. Like one of the most basic forms of gaslighting can happen in psychology, where you go up to a person and you say, like, they could be all cheerful and you say hi. And then all of a sudden you start saying stuff like, are you okay? Do you feel sick? Or something,
Yeah.
It looks like something's wrong. And when you reinforce that same thought over and over again, that person starts to physically feel sick.
Yeah.
It's an actual thing that goes
Damn.
down. And in relationships, the same thing happens, except it emotionally distraughts people, because she's telling him that he's not worth it. That's what he's hearing. You're not worth my time. All these other people are so much better than you. It's like, well, then why are you still here? Like, it's just such a confusing predicament to be in. And like I said, it's usually girls that are getting played on that, but doesn't mean it can't happen to guys too. And some of it, I could say, yeah, it's just her being friendly. But the more he goes in depth about it and talks about how she'll say, oh, this bartender was sexy. Like, I used to joke around with a couple of my exes. Like, I would never just outright say, oh, this girl's so much hotter than you. Because,
oh, dude, that would be the worst thing to fucking say to somebody.
That's ignorant as fuck. And hey, it just doesn't, it's not me. It's not what I actually think. Can I find appreciation in other people's beauty? Of course. We can all look at an actress and say, oh man, she's gorgeous, or an actor and say he's handsome as hell or he's sexy. But when you're in a relationship and you're saying that about random strangers you see on the street, that's a very different level. Like celebrity is one thing because it's put in front of you, but you're seeking out that.
Yeah, but if
thought
it's a
from
fucking
strangers.
bartender, yeah, you're right. If it's a bartender down the street being like, "Oh my god, this guy's hot," it's like, "Oh my god, are you gonna go screw that guy or something? Like, what's going
That's
on?"
exactly what my first thought would be. If I had a girlfriend who told me that she thought our local bartender was super sexy, I'd be like, well, it's nice knowing you.
Yeah, I may have
Like,
to bail on that
because
relationship.
the only thing you're going to keep doing in that situation is stress. You're going to keep forming these scenarios in your mind that may not ever come true, but it's a form of like psychological terrorism, and it sucks to anybody to have to go through that. I feel bad for the dude.
Yeah,
Like I'm not in my most physical shape, and I've felt better physically. But when you have somebody actually say that, like, "Oh man, you've put on some weight," it doesn't make you feel good.
oh yeah, it
Like,
does not. Definitely
I mean,
not.
how many times has a girl been asked by another girl, like, "Oh, how many months along are you?" And she's like, "I'm not pregnant."
See, that's the one
Oh,
I would never even consider asking that question. And people
me
still do it to
neither.
this day. It's like, "Oh, how far along?" You never know if they're pregnant or not.
Their pregnancy or their weight problems are their own thing. Like,
Yeah, I would never
it's
ask that
that's
unless they mention it. Being like,
yeah,
"Oh, I'm having a
that's
kid." It's
not
like,
for
"Oh my
me to
god."
concern myself about.
Yeah.
But and it can even have a negative effect when you say somebody's lost a lot of weight. That could actually be detrimental to them too, because some girls struggle putting on weight, and then you have this whole body dysmorphia thing. But in his situation, I personally don't see a good way out of that one.
There's
It
no
seems
way out of
like
this.
no, it seems like she's already. Here's what it seems like to me. Actually, I think she's trying to break up, but she's
Yeah.
making him force the hand.
You know what? That's a good I didn't think of it that way. You're
Because
right.
a lot of people will self-sabotage a relationship because they subconsciously want something different, but they don't have the guts to tell the person. And especially if you've been together for a few years, that's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's no excuse because again, you're still just you're stringing this person along. Like if I'm the kind of person where if I know I don't want to be in a relationship with someone anymore,
Hmm.
I owe it to them and myself to end it, because otherwise you're stringing them along, wasting more of their time. And especially for girls, they've only got so many good years to be making them babies. So you don't want to
Oh
be stuck in
yeah.
a 10-year relationship where there's no chance of having a child if that's one of your goals, and then come out of it in your 30s and be like, oh damn, or your 40s and say, well fuck, I wasted the best years of my life on somebody who I shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's I mean, my two relation I've only been in two long-term runs, but they were talk about an emotional roller coaster, I tell you.
I feel you there.
Woo-wee.
The long-term
Yikes.
ones, they come fewer and far between, but man, they definitely leave an impact.
Oh yeah. All right, I guess yeah. This is all downhill. Well, I guess all uphill. What's the saying? It's all downhill from here. Is that good or bad?
It should be good
Yeah,
because
it's
it means
good.
that
It's
there's no
easy.
resistance. It should be easy to go downhill. Yeah.
But that
I've already
Newfound Glory
climbed the
song.
mountain.
Oh yeah, yeah. Already been done.
Yep.
All right, so the last one I wanted to do sort of got removed. So I'm gonna throw it out there that you haven't heard yet.
Okay.
And we can go over it together.
Cool.
So this pretty basic. Guy I matched with on a dating app says he doesn't want to go on a date with me unless he sees more photos, even though I have 6 photos, both headshots and full body pictures.
He's just trying to make sure he's not catfished.
Is that it? I think that's probably
If
it.
he didn't ask for nudes, then there's interest. Like most dudes who just go and ask for nudes on the first fucking try through.
Oh my God.
Like,
I've
God
never,
damn, man, you've got the internet. Like, come on.
I don't think I've ever asked a lady for a nude picture. I don't think that's ever happened. I've never asked,
Oh,
but they
I
send it.
definitely have. Well,
Okay.
most of them have been sent without me asking, which has been
Yes,
nice.
that's kind of what
But
happened to me a couple times.
I also don't even broach that subject. Like, it's not something that I need to be interested in somebody. And I've had to express that many times. I'm like, I hope you realize that you don't have to do this in order to keep me interested to keep talking to you. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have to have a relationship based around sex for me to keep interested.
But
I'm not
maybe
that
this
kind of
guy isn't
person.
that interested. So she goes on to says, for instance, the first time I asked 2 days ago if he wanted to get lunch and he said he wasn't feeling hungry, that's fine. But he asked if he wants to hang out then and he changed the topic. At this point, 5 minutes ago. I asked if he's interested in going on a date. And as the title suggests, he says he needs to see more photos of me first. This dude is probably just not interested.
All right, he just sounds like a dick then.
Yeah, he's the dick.
He sounds like a dickhead. He's probably matched with 20 girls. He's probably got that like platinum Tinder profile.
Oh Jesus, dude! I think I matched with one person a year.
I've matched with a few. I've gone on one Tinder date.
Really?
Oh my God! After we finish this question, I'll talk about that because it was.
Yeah, I've been on about 1 million Tinder dates.
I've only went on the one, but I'm batting 1,000. I'll say.
Oh my God, that's awesome! I'm batting 0 out of 1,000.
I will say he's deflecting in my mind. Like if you have several pictures up, hopefully she doesn't have her social media attached because guys can really get creepy with that. I've heard too many horror stories of guys who didn't get a response from a girl after they matched, and so he used his internet sleuthing skills to hunt down where she worked and then just showed up at her job.
Oh my God, that's fucked up.
That's like restraining order scary.
Not gonna lie here, I have followed people that if we matched, I'd follow them on Instagram, and that's kind of weird.
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, it all depends on what your expectation is, and some come into it with an expectation of we matched, you must want to fuck, and that's not what it always is about. Like for guys, probably, but for the girls when they match, I guess that's why I've never done really Bumble, but I like its concept more because the girl has to reach out to the guy.
Yeah, that's the one I do the worst on. That's because you know they got to reach out. They got to reach out to you first. It's like a whole thing.
They don't get a chance to hear our humor.
But I was talking to a friend today. She says she hates Bumble because she has to reach out first. Like she hates making the first move.
I could see that. One of my friends, my friend Kristen, she actually, just before I helped her move to Nashville, a friend of hers set her up on Bumble and started swiping right at a bunch of dudes. And she ended up matching with one guy and reached out to him, and they've been together since.
Oh, that's
awesome. It's like a year and a half later.
Wow.
So it does work out. I think they just bought a house together down in San Diego.
San Diego.
It can work out. It's just, it's one of those just like lightning in a bottle kind of things, I feel like.
Yeah. Damn.
But
this guy clearly just doesn't want to hang with you. I'm sorry, but that's I would just cut it off. I would
last ditch effort, and the girl should never have to go through this much effort to get a guy's attention.
Oh yeah.
Like part of me is just saying that you should end it and not even respond to him again. There's a lot of guys out there.
Oh,
you're gonna find somebody who's hotter, who actually will pay attention and not be so ridiculous.
Yep, I'm on your side. Pictures. Just don't listen to this guy. You're gonna find a great dude out there. He's in the wrong here. Shouldn't be leading you on like that.
No,
I'm it's gonna work out for you. Just don't give in.
But I will say, for future reference, if you do come into a situation where somebody might be thinking that there's the catfish involved, a face chat, FaceTime is like the easiest thing to do because you can then see each other in real time. You know that person is who they say they are. Like that's the easiest, safest route to go about confirming somebody's identity. But I know there's a ton of fucking scams on sites like Tinder or on apps like Tinder too.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly geared towards the guys because guys are hornballs, but
oh man, God, I've been on some.
They're easy to rape their bank accounts.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on some wild dates. I gotta tell you.
I'm not even talking about the date side of things, but just the bots and
just the bots. There's a lot of bots. Every time someone just has their like Instagram posted or Snapchat or whatever, I'm like, okay, this is a bot for sure.
Yep, I think I had it in my Tinder profile for a bit. I was like, if you say add me on Snapchat, I've already left.
Yeah, no, there's no way. I'm
not even gonna bother.
Yeah. God, Snapchat. I got a Snapchat, but I'm fairly inactive on it.
I'm the same. I use it for the filters and pet filters.
Oh, there you go.
That's about it.
Pet filters all day. Well, those are the 3 questions, man.
That's not too bad.
That's not too bad. It was pretty softball stuff. You know,
it's unfortunate that these kind of situations happen to people pretty often, but it's a bummer knowing that there's people that will take advantage of somebody else's I don't want to say inexperience, but their inability to communicate.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times if you're not communicating in your relationship, the other person just takes it as, well, they must not care. Therefore, I can do this. And you don't recognize, those people in that term don't recognize the damage that they're doing by not communicating.
Absolutely. It sucks that a lot of these things are like, all right, you guys need to break up eventually. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a lot of them.
I try to be the person that sees the silver lining in it, but for the scenarios we had today, the silver lining is that's not the best you can get.
Yeah, that's true.
The best relationship you're gonna have is still to come, and it's gonna make this one seem like,
dude, if someone cheats on you, you'd be out the door, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
There'd be no chance of salvation for that relationship.
None. Because you keep going on with it. If say you do, it's just going to be in the back of your mind forever, being like, oh my God, you're cheating on me again. Give me your phone. You suck, kind of thing. So
that's the one thing that I never, ever wanted to do in a relationship. And I haven't. I've never asked a girl that I was dating or even a long-term girlfriend for the code to their phone. I don't give two shits what they do in there. Like I said, if somebody wants to cheat, they're going to, whether or not I'm trying to prevent it. And if you have to try to prevent something from happening, you probably shouldn't be with that person in the first place.
Would you let a significant other take your phone and use it?
I have.
Oh my God.
And it came back to bite me in the ass once, because even in my last relationship,
that's what I'm saying.
Well, this was like, she was digging, and I think she already had like, it was one of those situations again where she was self-sabotaging towards the end of the relationship, because I had never cheated on her, had never flirted with anyone. But I remember one night we happened to be in bed and we were watching TV, and I was showing her something on my phone, and some person Snapchatted me, and I swiped up to get rid of the notification so we can keep watching the thing. And she took that as me trying to hide something.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, no, I mean, you can go through, you can read the message. I don't give a shit. It's from a fan of my band's from Chicago who wanted to see if we needed more pizzas, because she liked sending us pizza from my favorite pizza place out there.
Hell yeah.
And I think that's the start for her in her own mind, building up this scenario that I was potentially cheating or not interested. And for backstory, she moved here from the UK to be with me. So,
oh my God, dude. Who are all these
in the
girls
US
that they're all over you, man? What the fuck's going on? I can't have someone move 20 feet to fucking go on a coffee date.
But in that situation, we'd already been together for about a year at that point.
Gotcha.
And she'd been living with me the whole time. But with that being said, she kind of relied on me for a lot just out of necessity, because she didn't have her US license yet.
Oh,
She was running into troubles getting some of that stuff. She was a US citizen too. We both were fortunate being dual citizens, but I think she took that as like the first thing, like, oh, maybe there's something else going on. Or maybe
Oh, wait, I didn't know you were a dual citizen.
Yeah, I was actually born in Ipswich, England.
You were? I didn't know that.
In the final stages of actually getting my UK passport finally. I've been
Really?
putting that off for years, yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Basically just have to wait for them to send it at this point.
When did you move to the U.S.?
When I was about 8 years old.
Oh,
I think
nice.
second grade.
Nice.
Yeah, it was inevitable that I would fall into music, being such a vagabond, because I was born in England, lived there for a year, then lived in Germany for 7 years.
Fuck yeah.
Then in Pennsylvania for 1, and then Florida for 2.
Where in Pennsylvania?
Texas for 1. I lived in a tiny town in basically northwestern Pennsylvania in the Allegheny National Forest.
Okay.
Called Kane. It's a
NPA.
tiny town of about 5,000.
Oof. Nice.
It's an everybody knows everybody in their grandfather.
Those are some weird towns, man. You're walking around, people just know you. I don't know if I like that or not.
I didn't. And I especially didn't like it because it was not a very diverse community, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So moving to the United States was actually my first experience with racism. Living in Europe, just didn't have a concept of it. And then moving here, it's like hearing people talk about other colored skins. And I'm like,
yeah,
what?
Dude, people are just fucking assholes.
Agreed.
It's
100%.
like, so I have a shirt. So my friend Dylan, he makes these shirts. They say, I met God, she's black on it. Like that's the shirt that says. And it's a great shirt. And I was just in my hometown going to Wawa, shout outs. But
nice.
This guy from across the fucking floor, he was like, God's not a chick, dude. And I was like, okay, so you could either pick that black or a woman.
My guy.
Yeah. It's like, what do you? It's like, what are you doing over here? Like, why would you even say anything? Just mind your own fucking business.
The things that people decide to be offended about, like they're not even actually offended. They choose to be. Like an offense is something that's like inherently wrong with a situation. And there's nothing wrong with somebody wearing a t-shirt. Like I don't get mad when I see your Jesus fish, like a not of this world sticker, which to me is the most ironic of all things. Like not bashing people's religions. I was raised Catholic, but like I said, I'm not a faith-based person.
Yeah, I was baptized and everything.
Yeah, I went through all of it, confirmation,
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
nine for Catholicism. But for me, religion just didn't make sense. It's not for me. Doesn't mean I don't respect and appreciate other people who do. It's just different strokes, you know?
It's like,
But
just do
when I
whatever you
see
want to do.
what makes
That's,
you happy, as long as it's not
yeah.
hurting somebody else or yourself, I'm for it. But I see those not of this world stickers and they kill me because I'm like, I wonder if they realize how ironic it is that their stickers are literally saying that their God is not of this world, which makes him an alien. Like
Fucking
we're just some
ET.
genetic experiment from some alien. L. Ron Hubbard probably wasn't that far off.
Yeah, yeah, right. I don't understand the flat earthers. That one I don't get. I'm like,
I will never understand that one.
I think they're just trying to fuck with us or something. I don't know.
I'm one of those dudes that for one of my old jobs, I just had a lot of downtime and could stand around and watch movies or TV shows. And
Yeah.
I would download the most ridiculous conspiracy theory videos of like, well, there's a hole in the North Pole and it leads to the center of the earth where the lizard people live. And
Yeah.
like, it's so comical, but at the same time, it's interesting as fuck to me. Not because I believe it, but because somebody has actually conceptualized this. And I'm like, they should be writing books. Like again, L. Ron Hubbard, he started a whole damn Scientology religion based on his books.
Yeah.
It's like, there's money to be made there.
There's money to be made. There was this one
Harry
video.
Potter in 100 years will be a religion.
That will 100%. I'm pretty sure it probably is now. And I think I mentioned this, I mentioned this in the last podcast. I swear to you, we were talking about this. I feel like if I tell somebody that I've only seen one of the movies and none of the books, I'll get like burned at the stake.
It's happened to me every time.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of them.
Yeah. It's just like people are just like, fuck you, Andrew. Like they'll hate me because I don't like Harry Potter that much.
It's like we're the Antichrist all of a sudden.
Antichrist.
Watch it.
And dude, there's one video of this guy. You may have seen it. He goes up to Buzz Aldrin and was just like, you didn't go to the moon, fuck you. And then Buzz just clocks him in the face. He's like, I'm so sick of hearing these people.
I heard that, and oh my God, it made me so happy.
Yeah, it's just like, you have to get sick of that. Imagine like doing something and people saying that you didn't do it. It's like the worst fucking thing ever.
Like, think of something trivial. Like, oh, I took a shit this morning. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. No, you fuck you.
Like,
yeah.
And then amplify that by 1 million for achievement. And it's like, how? I would go crazy every day.
Yeah.
I actually had the privilege of meeting a woman it was about last year, I think. She was in her, I want to say like mid 60s, maybe.
Nice.
But her longtime husband was the third man to walk on the moon.
Whoa.
And I was just like, the stories that she was telling me about him and their time together. And I think she said she was like 16 or 17 when they first met, when they were both younger. And then they kind of went different paths in their lives and then came back together, if I remember the story correctly.
So Pete Conrad is his name, I guess, who walked in. Yeah, third guy.
And I think, if I'm remembering it correctly, he died in a motorcycle accident.
Yes, you're right. He was 69 years old in a motorcycle accident.
And she was at this, I think she lives in Huntington Beach, actually, which is where I live. And she was talking about all that time back then in the moon mission. And like, even when he would go to do book signings and stuff, they were like rock stars then.
Yeah.
And driving Corvettes and crazy good cars. I think they were actually given Corvettes from
Chevrolet.
I
think they were, dude. I saw something about Apollo 11, a documentary, and I think they did.
But to me, even by proxy, like having a conversation with the woman who was with him for all those years, just nerded out the child wannabe astronomer that I was, or astronaut.
Yeah.
I'm like, man. And then there's people that still don't believe that it actually happened. Like, we have shit on the moon right now that you can see.
Yeah, I know. Like, you could see it from fucking Earth.
Like, there's literally a camera on the moon.
Yeah.
Like, come on. But people,
it was filmed. Why is the flag windy? There's all this bullshit about it. I'm like, fuck off.
An object in motion will stay in motion.
Dude, imagine. Yeah.
Fucking physics. Like, it doesn't need wind to blow. They set the flag down in the moon dust, and just the shaking of the flag staff will make the flag look like it's waving.
There you go.
Because there's nothing there. It's a void. It'll just
case closed.
That's your scientific explanation from me.
Danny's a science. In another life, man, you'll be the astronaut.
I could only hope that, or some kind of time traveler.
Oh, that'd be sick, man.
I think we've missed some of the best times this world has ever seen are behind us, I think. And that's depressing. Like,
it's very depressing.
Eras that I missed the artists that I missed getting to see, all the
Mm.
80s guys that passed away in the past couple years, like Bowie
Yeah.
and Prince and George Michael.
I never got to see any of that.
Me neither.
And even a
I
more
have-
recent one, Linkin Park, I never saw.
You know what? I played a Warped Tour that they played,
Oh, fuck yeah.
and I'm retroactively pissed at myself for not going to watch them.
Dude, I don't even remember when they played Warped Tour. They must have been a
They
big
did a
headliner,
secret.
right?
It was like a secret guest set. I think
Yeah.
they came on and did some songs with the Day to Remember.
Day to Remember, yeah.
Was that the
Damn.
2015 one?
That must have been. I was working. I
That
was
was
doing
the one
merch.
that I did work.
Yeah, so I was doing merch on a couple years of those with my
That's
old
the
label.
one we played. We ended up playing that fucking Ernie Ball stage,
Hell yeah, man.
but it was still a blast.
Damn. How many dates
But
did you
yeah.
do? Did you guys just play that one show?
We did just the one. We had plans to kind of follow some dates because we weren't on the whole tour, but I'd been
Yeah.
talking with Kevin about potentially doing some on the Kevin Says stage. But our time frame was we were in Florida for the month of May into the middle of June recording, and then we ended up we were only supposed to be out there for 2 weeks, and then Andrew wanted to extend it another 2, which cut
Gotcha.
into our return tour that we had booked. So we had to cancel most of those dates. We're like, what makes more sense? Staying out here and finishing recording, or doing a tour that could just basically pay for our gas to get back home?
Yeah.
And we stayed out there to record more, and then just did some of the East Coast states. Like I think we did Florida, we did a couple there in Orlando and Jacksonville, and then we played the Masquerade in Atlanta.
Oh man, I love that venue.
The OG Masquerade.
The OG. I don't think I've ever been to the OG Masquerade, but I did
The new one's cool, but the old one, it was this old like mill building, and they had 3 different rooms like they do in the new one. There was Heaven, Hell, and Purgatory.
Yep.
They were kind of like Gothic cathedral inspired, in Hell at least. Or no, Purgatory was the one that was like that. I think Purgatory
Yeah.
was the smaller room, and Hell was the
Yeah.
mid-level one. And we did a co-headlining date there in Hell, and it was so much fun.
Hell's
last
the main room, isn't it?
No, Heaven's the main room.
Oh, Heaven.
Heaven's the
Yes.
one that's
Hell's
like
the
a-
middle one. Yeah.
Yeah, Heaven I think was the 1,200 capacity room.
Yeah.
Hell was like 500, and then Purgatory was a couple hundred.
Yeah. So Hell, I do the Jonas Brothers versus One Direction nights in Hell.
Nice.
Dude,
Oh my
I
God, that would
I have
be
never
so
seen
much
so many
fun.
fucking 19-year-olds freak out in my entire life. I swear to God. It is the most insane thing I've ever done.
You you want to hear the flip side of that?
Yeah.
So we played direct support for Ryan Cabrera.
Oh
one
my
year.
God. On the
And-
way down, I saw you.
He was a sweetheart of a dude. Like it was a lot of fun to play. It was very, very kind of like, why are we doing this? Like, we're kind of like this pop punk rock band or pop rock band. And then we got there, and I was dying during Ryan's set because everyone in the room was like a 50-year-old woman. And
Oh
then she
my
had her
God.
teenage daughter with her. And
Yeah, they had to
mothers were
bring the
ones
moms
that
to the
brought their
show.
No, the mothers were there for
Oh,
him.
what?
And they brought their
Are we that
daughters to
fucking
come
old?
watch him. Dude, he made a joke on stage. He's like, "Don't worry, I know who my demo is." And I was like, I'm just waiting for this like oversized granny bra to fly up on stage because I would have lost my shit.
Oh my God.
But no, he played through, and he basically did the entire show where it was like fan request, whatever you want to hear, I'll play it. Even if I haven't played it in 10 years, I'll find a way to do it.
Oh
And
my
he did the whole show like that. I'm like, dude,
Holy
that's
shit. I always wanted his
ballsy.
hair. I thought it was so cool. I'm like, oh my God, Ryan Cabrera. Hanging out with
he had that 90s, late 90s, early 2000s.
yeah, like Ashley
frosted
Simpson.
tips.
Yeah, it was the whole
Yeah.
fucking thing. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I took
Oh.
a dive and anyway,
It was
dude,
a lot of fun.
This has been fun, man.
Yeah,
I
enjoyed
appreciate you
it.
coming on.
of course.
Yeah, we gotta
You know
we
where to
gotta
find me in the future. And
Dude,
maybe we'll have to have you as a guest on Heart and Humor.
yeah, when is that like when do you guys record that? Are you still coming out with new episodes?
We took a break because right around because of the coronavirus, I'm one of the immunocompromised bastards. So I've been literally cooped up in my house since
Yeah.
March. But my buddy Billy, he's the guitarist for a band called Set Sights,
Yep.
which are crazy good dudes. And me and him do the podcast, Heart and Humor. We used to do it on Wednesdays. We did this whole because we took about a month off at the start of coronavirus
Yeah.
to just kind of lay back and let things kind of be. We did like a 3-hour episode where it was being broken up into 3 different releases.
Gotcha.
And then after we released the first one, all the protests started. and
Oh.
we decided not to release the other 2 episodes yet because we didn't want to detract from everything else that was going on. We're like, there are bigger things to focus on, and there's people literally losing their lives. So let's let that voice be the one that actually gets heard.
Yeah, because nobody wanted to do anything during those times. You know what I mean? It's just like you had to let people, stand up for what they believed in and all that.
Exactly. And I'm one of those where I definitely support that side of things. Like I'm
absolutely
a Black Lives Matter supporter. Maybe not the group, but the idea. Like it's been too long for all that shit to be swept under the rug.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
But we keep intending to get it back up again. And now that I've done this one, maybe Billy will be like, so I see you cheating on me, eh? And we'll get another one started. But when we get a date slated, I'll try and hit you up and see when you'd be good, because we've been wanting to get guests on for a while, and it seems like Zoom is going to make it a lot easier.
I think we both sound really good because I think we're both using actual mics. So the last couple of times people are just using their headphones or whatever, and it sounds okay, but I think this will sound really good, and it's recording both of us at the same time. I'm not sure if this one's going to come out this Monday or the next Monday, just because it may take me a bit to edit, but we'll see.
Right on.
See what happens. But dude, thank you so much.
Definitely help.
Get mics, people. You want to be on some podcasts. Yeah, that's our advice, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out. And Danny, I'm sure I will be seeing you around. I'm hoping to be in the LA area very soon. So
awesome.